Hi everyone, it's National Small Business Week, and I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about my website, SacWellness.com. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a therapist in the greater Sacramento area. My name is Joe Borders, and about a year ago I created SacWellness.com. It's a website designed to help people find therapists in the greater Sacramento area. This video is more geared towards therapists and me trying to convince them to sign up for the site, but yeah, just wanted to tell you a little bit about it and why you should sign up. Basically, I'm trying to create a small local alternative to big sites like Psychology Today. Lots of therapists ask me why that's important, and a lot of it has to do with SEO, or search engine optimization, which is how some of the stuff you do to get your website ranking in Google and other search engines. What ends up happening is, or what's supposed to happen, is usually if you have yourself on a website like Psychology Today or Good Therapy, and that website is connected to your website, Google is then supposed to take that as a vote in favor of your site being an authoritative, sorry, I have braces, an authoritative source of information on the subject of counseling, mental health, all that other good stuff. The problem comes up when most directories I've been a part of use some form of system to bypass that. So most commonly they'll use what's called a no-follow tag, which is coding that basically tells Google to ignore your website and not give it that vote in favor of your site being a good source of information. So what you end up with then is if you Google anything, local counselors, anxiety therapy, your name, you're usually going to see Psychology Today, Good Therapy, Theravive, all that stuff come up first. Which in some ways they kind of should, because they're these giant websites, but there's this activity I like to have people kind of try out when looking at this type of thing. Try Googling your name. So for me, I'd Google Joe Borders and I come up first, but most people you meet, most therapists in the area, you'll have Psychology Today first or something, which really shouldn't happen. So again, what's happening in cases like that is Google is then considering, when Google is considering Psychology Today to be a greater, more reliable source of information on you than your own site, which is obviously a problem. So part of what I'm doing here is I'm in creating a local alternative. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. So when you rank on my site, you're going to get all that good SEO juice that potentially raises you in rankings. And theoretically, like if my dreams were to come true, in 5 years, if SacWellness is just doing a lot better than all these other directories, then they would be on like page 2 or something, and all the other therapists who actually have websites around here would be ranking on page 1. We'll see. That might take a while, but I don't know. To kind of explain it a little better, I like to tell people like, Google's main goal is to deliver relevant search results to people who are using it. So you have to figure, like, what would somebody searching for a therapist in the Sacramento area more like to get in their search results? Like a giant international phone book or like a local phone book? And so in this case, we're the local phone book, and obviously that would be a lot more useful. And actually, this is already happening. The site's almost been live for a year, and I'm tracking 900 keywords, and we're currently ranking on page 1 of about 300 out of those 900. The first one that I got to, the very first rank of was Sacramento Therapist directory, so you can search that and find us there. But so that's another reason to join the site. Eventually, we are going to overpower big sites like Psychology Today. It's going to happen. But in order to get there, we need therapists to sign up. Essentially what happens then is the more therapists that sign up, the more Google is going to look at our site as that really useful local directory that we want it to be. And through that, it'll outrank some of these other sites. What else do I need to tell you? The site's been doing pretty well. I was just looking at statistics, and I know, like, if you're looking at this in the future, this was recorded in April 2019, but Oh no, it's May. I'm sorry, May 2019. But in April, we got about 25 calls through the site, something like 10 or 15 emails, and then there was around 130 website visits through the site. So that's people visiting the site, looking for a therapist, and then going to a therapist's website through the site. So we're getting a good amount of traction, and I know people have been getting calls, and it's working. So then I guess the next thing I should tell you is the site's free until 2020, and then after that it's going to be $17 a month, which is another reason to join. It's relatively cheap, but a lot of people have been asking me why I've been giving it for free for so long, because by the time I start charging for it, it will have been free for over a year and a half. I'm pretty much doing this whole thing myself. My wife has been helping in editing some stuff and writing a couple blogs, and I've hired some people to do some coding, but aside from that, the site's me. It's me. It's been a lot of work, but because of that, it's taken some time to really get it to a good place, and I don't want to charge people until it's in that kind of state. I've had a lot of people say I'm being too much of a perfectionist, but occasionally I've run into some problems in the site that have got in the way for some people. Like, I know I just fixed something that cropped up 2 days ago that was keeping people from being able to edit their listings, but that's fixed now. So if you had that problem, check it out. So what else should I tell you? The only other thing I can think of is, like, I really want to drive home the point that we're trying to create a real local community resource. I've got a lot of ideas for things to do in the future that might connect the site to the community more. We've been reaching out to therapists to write articles to be posted on the site, which, by the way, if you're interested in, you could totally contact me about that. We've got a bunch of ideas we're going to run with in the future, and with the assumption that the site keeps growing, then I don't know. I really want this to be something big and useful for our community. I think that's all I needed to tell you. I guess I should just end with, like, really, you know, if you've been thinking about signing up, but have been hesitant to for some reason or another, I hope this video has answered some of your questions. But one of the main things that makes us different from some of the bigger directories out there is that we're real people, or I'm a real person, it's me, in the community, and I'm really dedicated to making this site the best. So if you ever have any problems with your listing, you can feel free to call, text, or email me, and I'll do my best to get whatever it is fixed as soon as I can. I've had a couple people I've created listings for. Really, I'm here to help you with any trouble you might have with the site, and I would really like to have you. It would really help us get ranking in Google, and create something good. All right, thanks for your time, and maybe see you on the site.